What up, what up, what up, what up, y'all? Damn, is that too low? Let me turn down the gain. Yo, yo, yo. All right, good. We're back. Um, so, the next method that we're going to do is remove tail. Okay? So, let's jump to our whiteboard. Here we are, here we are. Hey, shout out to that person who commented last. I think they wanted to see my face. They think I'm taking people's content because they can't see my face, I think. But, anyways, what we're going to do is remove this tail. So, simply we'll remove that. Then that'll become tail. Make sense? Cool. All right. Jumping back to the code. Let's see. Let me remove that. That was something I was doing different. All right. Let's call it remove tail. Let me clear this over here. Clear. No email. Linked list.js. Okay, cool. So, what do? We did append. So we should have 10, 20, and 30 over here. Node value of 10. The next one is node value of 20. And then the tail is node value of 30. So, once we remove the tail, this 30 should be gone. Okay? Let me actually remove this. All right. All right. So first thing we want to do when we do the tail is our housekeeping. And so our housekeeping is we want to make sure that it even is the tail, right? So we'll say if not this dot tail. If there is no tail, let's just return false. Okay. So let me go ahead and just comment that out. You see our linked list is null, everything is null. So we say my list. Let's do console.log my list dot remove tail. False. So that works. Since we commented this out, we didn't have any head, tail, anything. It's not there. Now it's coming back undefined. Okay. So comment that out. We did the housekeeping. Okay. So here, let's go ahead and actually grab the tail. So we'll say const popped node is equal to this dot tail. Make sense? So now we have our tail and a pop node. Okay. So next, I think we want to say if the head is the tail, let's jump back, right? Jump back to our whiteboard. Let's just say that this doesn't exist, or that. If head is head and tail because there's only one, then all we have to do is make the head and tail null and it'll be gone. Does that make sense? So we're just like kill that basically. Okay. So let's switch back to our code. And behind the scenes here, I'm gonna do what I was doing. Boom. All right, so we'll say if this dot head is equal to this dot tail, this dot head equals null, this dot tail equals null. All right. And if head and tail are not the same, then let's create a new tail. And new tail will use our get node at index from earlier. All right, this dot get node at index, this dot length -1. So if we did new tail, this dot get node at index, this dot length -1, this would actually grab the tail, right? And let's switch back over to the whiteboard. But we don't want to grab the tail. We want to grab the new tail. Since we're trying to X this baby out, this one should be the new tail. I really need one of those little virtual pins. All right, so this will be the new tail. So since the length is 1, 2, 3, but the index is 0, 1, 2, so when we say 3, it'll be out of bounds. So if we say this dot length -1, then it'll grab the tail. So instead we're going to do -2, so we can grab the 1 before the tail. Jump back to code. -2. All right. So now, because this new tail is the tail, we're going to say new tail dot next is equal to null. What does that mean? Let's jump back to our whiteboard. Since we're trying to X this one out, new tail next, right? Which would usually come here. But since it's X'd out, we're going to change it to null. New tail dot next equal to null. All right. And then lastly, we're going to say this dot tail equals new tail. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Let's jump back. Boom. So since we've X'd this baby out, now we're saying this new tail actually equals tail. So let's actually kill that whole thing, right? We said that next is now null. And then lastly, we just put our stamp on it and said this dot tail is the new tail. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's go back to the code. All right. So, one more thing to do. We need to, I want to say reduce the count. And return the node that you took away. All right. So to reduce the count, we just say this dot length minus minus, which is the same as this dot length equals this dot length minus 1. And return the pop node. Return pop node. So instead of reduce the count, I should have said reduce the length of the linked list. All right, prayers up. Let's see what we get. Right now we've got node 10, and then the next 20, and then the next 30. 10, 20, 30, right? So let's go ahead and remove the tail. And what do we have? Oh, it's showing us 30 because we popped it, right? Head node is 10, next is 20, tail should be not 30. My list dot remove tail. Boom. All right, head 10, the next 20, the tail 20, next equals null. So 10, 20, it's the exact same thing we're viewing on our whiteboard. So let's call this value 10, value 20. Now this one's the tail. As you can see, tail. Let me actually switch you back to the code. That's where I jumped over to. Tail 20, head 10, next equals null. Next is null here because there's nowhere to point to. It's just oblivion. Here, there's nothing, it's null. And that is it for removing our tail. Let's see. Next, we'll do insert at a certain spot in the next video.